The increasing pace of globalization and how it affects the environment has been a major global concern. Although the research has been fraught with contrasting results, there are many who strongly believe that increased globalization has been harmful to the environment. A large number of environmentalists who support this view base their arguments on the premises that globalization leads to an increase in global demand, resulting in increased production. This indirectly contributes to the exploitation of the environment and the depletion of natural resources. Amid rising environmental concerns, an important question is whether the globalization would have the opposite impact on the environment. Put differently, if globalization is harmful, then should we expect that the current globalization trend will be less harmful for the environment? It's an important question to ask right now, considering the mounting anti-globalization sentiments that have been engulfed the global north.
One of the greatest problems that the world is facing today is any kind of pollution, which is causing grave and irreparable damage to the natural world and human society, with about maybe 40% deaths worldwide being caused by water, air, and soil pollution and coupled of human overpopulation. Depending on the part of the environment that is polluted, it caused by concern throughout the world as it puts the survival of mankind in danger. But with the rapid spread of industrialization and the growth of the human population to unprecedented levels, population became a universal problem. It is a social issue because it is caused by human behaviors and because it not only has a negative effect on the planet but also on people and society. Pollution is something entirely different. It poisons the air and water that we all depends on. Air pollution is a topic being discussed almost daily in the news and is included in many health and environment forums. Pollution affects business operations in many ways, from changes to traffic, vehicle design requirements, bans on burning, and even shutting some manufacturing plants at time. But we can find solutions to solve these issues among the human race amid the diversifying and widespread of environment problems. The most important thing to do is to get as many people to think about our environment and the damage our actions have caused to it.
Climate change is a global issue and one that is particularly intriguing because it encompasses many ecological, social, economic, political, and ethical aspects. Responding to climate change poses a fundamental challenge to the ideas that have shaped globalization. Among the significant impacts of globalization on the environment, a very important and far-reaching negative effect of globalization is manifested in global warming and climate change. Global warming is brought by greenhouse effect caused by growing industrialization of developing countries and heavy reliance on fossil fuels. This also includes the increase in transport that leads to a harmful exhaust emissions from vehicles. According to the Office of National Statistics, the tropic-borne gas emissions in the greenhouse effect has increased by 47% since 1990. Disturbing the atmospheric balance and threatening the world with climatic disruption will result to an uncontrollable increasing global temperatures with devastating consequences for humanity. For that, multinational companies must be focused on the creations of technology that reduces the impact of humans and the environment. It's not about abandoning globalization. Instead, it is all about transforming globalization into green, which promotes growth through sustainable development that has an increased environmental awareness. In an age of climate crisis, whether or not we can change the global economy in a progressive and sustainable direction It will shape our future as a species.
Biodiversity is threatened by the combined action of our society, just going about our day-to-day business. Biodiversity loss, a decrease in biodiversity within a species, an ecosystem, a given geographic area on Earth as a whole. The COVID-19 pandemic has provided shocking confirmation of humanity and nature. By this, how can we continue progress without that much damage to the environment? It is whether addressing vulnerability to environmental change, responsibility for environmental degradation and loss of biodiversity, or policy priorities, careful consideration of the particular groups of people involved, and their social, economic, and environmental condition. Also, we can continue with business as usual, while bracing ourselves for the pandemic disruption that ahead. Or we can recognize biodiversity as one of our strongest allies in tackling climate change and securing a thriving future for people and planet. Focusing on people, their rights, capabilities, and opportunities has multiple benefits for individuals, society, and their relationship with the environment.
The loss of biodiversity can be attributed to the influence of human beings on the world's ecosystem. In fact, human beings have deeply altered the environment and have modified the territory, exploiting the species directly. This loss of biodiversity, it is a global problem. There is general scientific consensus that we are losing biodiversity at the rate greatly in excess of that which has been normal for much of human history. It is also agreed that this loss is largely attributable to human activities. Loss of biodiversity is driven largely by destruction of the habitats of the specific that are becoming extinct and production of the need to clear land for housing, growing food, and providing firewood. Behind this increasing pressure on space is, of course, the great growth of human population. Population growth, habitat loss, and biodiversity loss are global problems in the sense that they are occurring globally and have global consequences. But they are not problems of globalization. They are not driving the expansion of international trade and capital movements, nor the possible cultural homogenization which we associate as part of the phenomenon called globalization. Another factor that may already be contributing to the loss of biodiversity and will probably contribute much more in the future.
Globalization has allowed society to enjoy many benefits, including increased global cooperation, reduced risk of global conflict, and lower prices for goods and commodities. Unfortunately, it's also led to serious negative effects on the environment. Because it isn't feasible for globalization to end or reverse, it is likely the situation will worsen until nations, governing bodies, and other organizations are compelled to implement laws and regulations that limit negative effects. Businesses and industries that operate globally have an incentive to take whatever voluntary actions they can to reduce the potential for negative effects. Doing so can not only give an organization greater control over its initiatives, but also be a powerful marketing and communication tool. As a future agribusiness, investing in renewable energy and packaging, embracing responsible land use management, and shifting goods production to be closer to the end customers are all viable options business can and should consider. The challenge lies in balancing a desire to embrace a corporate social responsibility with the need to turn a profit and run a successful business.